Hey everyone, I partially lied about getting out a video. Maybe, I'm definitely going to do at least one, obviously. Just go over my general thoughts about Darkest Dungeon and why my videos are going slightly less frequent. My son was actually born X amount of time ago, so that's obviously been very busy, making me a little tired, maybe not up to date on how frequently stuff is going out. Second, there hasn't been an incredible amount in Darkest Dungeon 2, to be honest. I'll make a separate video later this week, maybe, or early next week, kind of talking about the patch pacing they're doing, because from their last announcement till now, at least from what I've seen, they're only doing trinkets in a third hero path, and it's almost taken them a month and a half, if not longer. So that has me slightly concerned. And once again, they'll eventually get done in time. It's just they've set themselves to a due date that I hope they can live up to. So that's why I mention it. So hopefully they can live up to their own due date. But we're not going to talk about that in this video. We're going to talk about the 5 trashiest skills, essentially. No real particular order because... it's not... Darn, sorry, fly in my face. Not no real particular order, but they're just bad skills. So to start off the list, we're just going to go left to right on heroes here, and that's how we'll do it. We actually have to come back to the Plague Doctor. Ounce of Prevention probably used to be one of the best skills in the game when it reduced stress. Now that it's just a generic, even when it's pretty bad when it's not upgraded, but when it is upgraded, you're like, it almost doubles everything, but for the most part, they made Darkest Dungeon 2 so offensive that you don't really have time to do just a resistance buff for the whole party kind of thing. So it used to be really good, but honestly I think this is a waste of a turn now. When you have someone like the Runaway, you actually want people to bleed. It may not be terrible if you're trying to stall out a fight or if you don't want to get a lot of blights like from the Plague Eaters, but for the most part, the disease resist is actually probably what you would want. But once again, my theory is kill people before they get multiple rounds off. And the Plague Doctor has many other useful things, as burning bodies, doing DOT, doing incision, healing, that Ounce of Prevention is not exactly something I'm looking to do right away. Next up, we got the Grave Robber with flashing daggers. They somehow made it worse than the first game. Didn't even think that was possible, but dear gracious did they do it. They absolutely dumpstered this skill. Upgraded 3 to 5, hits positions 2 and 3, 10% crit, that's it. Like, no bleed, no daze, no armor penetration, no evasion on yourself, no ignore evasion, no crit, nothing. It's just literally 3 to 5 damage, which is just garbage because usually the first position people have some form of protection. So all this really is a token remover ability, and there's other ways to do that instead of using this absolute garbage skill. And besides, you would have to keep this garbage skill on, which is something I normally don't do because it's so bad. I usually do something like that. So I guess if you're starting the game and you have it, sure, but it's absolutely something to remove. Even with Deadeye, where you have 50% more damage to range skills, that still goes to upgraded, what, 5 to 7, 5 to 8. It's better, but still not great, and you need a 50% damage to do so. It might become really good with a few, like 20%, 50% here, but what skill in the game can you not? There's really not a skill in the game where you're like, yeah, well, if you increase it by 200% damage, it's not that bad. Well, yeah, no crap. Increasing any skill by 200% damage isn't terrible. I have Grapeshot Blast in here as a consideration. The only reason why I would say it's not one of the top 5 is because when you get I think it's a sharpshooter or marksman highwayman, Grapeshot Blast is actually pretty good. Outside of that, you got the same issues. Positions 1 and 2, 4 to 6 damage, 10%, doesn't do anything else for you. So, in all honesty, Grapeshot Blast and flashing daggers, tomato almost. Once you have the class for Grapeshot Blast, it's slightly better than flashing daggers, in my honest opinion. But for the most part, it's just generic crap, and it really needs a touch of something else once you upgrade it, rather than just an extra point of damage or 2. Breakthrough on the Hellion, great class, but man, this ability. Like, did someone who hate the Hellion, like, did they say the Hellion's too good and they just decided to destroy Breakthrough? Like, look at this non-upgraded. 1 to 2 damage. Okay, I mean, it's enough to finish somebody. It has a cooldown. I don't know why you'd want it to have a cooldown. It moves you forward 1, which is maybe the only redeeming quality of this. And it wins you. You're like, okay, what's it upgraded? Oh, it ignores protection, and now it actually gets a 5% crit chance increase because it had 0 before. And now you go to 2 to 3 damage. Holy snap. Yeah, it's absolute garbage. I honestly am not sure why you would ever have this on other than to anti-shuffle, and at that point, I mean it would only be for pure anti-shuffle. Like, yeah. And I guess you could argue mass token removal as well. The only fight I could see this actually being particularly useful is the fight in the Tangle with the drummer and the 3 regular foot soldiers. Removing 3 protection tokens would actually be useful. Or, hear me out, you Howling's End almost one-shot them through their protection and then someone follows up. So, remove 3 tokens, do practically 0 damage because 50% of 2 to 3 is like, 1 to 2. So you're going to do like a point of damage, right? So 1 point of damage, you're still going to fatigue yourself, and you've removed 3 protection tokens, or probably get really close to finishing the person, staying in the front row, and still only fatiguing yourself. Like, it's a no-brainer. It just, absolutely no-brainer to me. Alrighty, we get to run and hide on the runaway. This ability just blows my mind. I guess it's only there to save you essentially from Death's Door and anti-shuffle. I was slightly hesitant to put in the top 5 or skills because it does have a 3 HP heal with no conditions. That's very important. Maybe you can use that skill to cheese some HP. It can be used at any position, so maybe you're at the end of the fight, you're like, well, she doesn't need to kill anybody, so let's just heal. But I almost always take that off, but on Cauterize, and I almost always take out... See, Hearthlight's not bad, because at least you can remove A, stealth, which is good in the sluice, and B, you actually remove your allies' blind tokens, which obviously is really good as well. So Hearthlight's actually pretty good. So I usually take those 2 skills off, though. And finally, we actually get to the Jester. And, where is it? It's called Playout, and it is a horrible ability. I guess if you are trying to survive and not get combo token, or if you get pulled back. But I mean, like, I don't know. And there's things like Finale, and I mean, I know it obviously makes you vulnerable and dazes you, but it's just like, would I rather get to the very back row and maybe kill somebody, or back up 1 position and get like a protection? I'm just not entirely sure, because there's other abilities that back you up 1, but you could blind target and still do damage and still give them a combo token upgraded. Like, yeah, it's like try to save your bacon ability, but I mean, I guess if you're in position 3 and want to move to position 4, it's technically better than just shuffling your party. But if I'm in position 2 and I want to be in position 2, I'm going to manually move myself most likely. Like, I wouldn't keep the skill on with all the other great abilities. Like, of which abilities would you take off? You're like, oh, screw Stress Heal. Maybe Razor's Wit, but even that gets pretty good because he also gives, okay, he always gives the combo token, which actually makes it even better. You don't have to upgrade it. But you get Evasion, more crit chance combo token. This gives you a good blind combo token. This gives you vulnerability, bleed when upgraded. This gives you bleed. This obviously allows massive stress heal. And this gives a whole extra action. Like, I just don't know where Playout actually would ever fit. Like, even Echoing March, if I read it correctly, it's pretty cool. Some characters are obviously pretty bad in the first row, and this way you don't have to constantly pull them. Echoing March would be like, yeah, we're just going to literally make you come to the front of the row every time and make you use your worst ability. So Echoing March is pretty cool. Solo could obviously, you know, provide a weird tank ability. Also puts on a combo token. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Finale could obviously do damage. You could solo into Finale. So, you know, like, there's a bunch of stuff you could do. Battle Ballad, I mean, It's decent on like the leper. Again, I mean, it's still way better than play out. So play out's the last garbage skill. So those are a couple of garbage skills. I don't know if they can honestly make them better. When you make 11 skills per hero, it's gonna be really hard to make them all viable. I think the first game had an issue making 7 skills viable, and when you could select 4. This game made 11 and you can only have 5. So you figure in the first game you could have over half the skills equipped. In this game you have under half the skills equipped. So if they thought they were going to add more skills for more variety, I would argue almost the opposite. Like, you're so kind of limited in the skills you can pick, you're going to probably have almost a core 3 to 4 staple that you just like. Every hero, I mean, honestly, like their first 2 abilities, well, okay, that's a really bad example. I probably don't have. Grave Robber is probably the most unique one where I don't usually have them, because pistol shot's actually pretty good. Stun chance with a combo token is actually severely underrated. Well, I shouldn't say it's severely underrated, people don't rate it, but I think it's actually really good in situations, so I keep it on. Man at Arms, definitely keep those 2 on. Like I said, like usually the first 2 skills of each person I don't find myself often taking off. Yeah, I really don't find myself often taking them off. So that's already 40% of my skills, and then yeah, so that is what it is. I just accidentally clicked to start playing, so I will play this. My next video will probably be about why the Shackle's a good design boss. We'll talk. I'm trying to make a lot of videos about boss design. I do have a script for generic boss design video. I've been reading a couple of books about game design, story, like I've been reading about video games, generic writing, so it is giving birth to a couple of new ideas that aren't necessarily Darkest Dungeon 2 inspired directly, but are obviously going to be relatable to Darkest Dungeon 2 because Darkest Dungeon 2 is a written story game design game. So when I learn things where things are made more clear to me, I'm obviously going to bring them up. I don't want to leave you guys hanging. I want to provide a new twist, because to be honest, and we all know this, playing the same dungeon over and over again with not really any different party comps, and not going to have any different party comps for a while, because the newest hero probably won't come out until near the end of the year, to be honest. It's already July. I don't think their new hero, actually, no, I don't think their new hero will come out till like easily mid-August, late September probably, at the rate they're going. So you figure we still have another 2 months of no new hero. I'm done. I don't want to keep showing off the same party comps, and depending on honestly where the new hero goes, if it's not a backliner, it's going to be almost the same party comp again, because the first positions are so overfilled already. Making another frontliner is just essentially just going to clog up the machine more than it already is. So I don't know what to say about that. So yeah, I don't really feel like posting the same dungeon run over and over and over again. Oh, I forgot to put on Point Blank. Oh, I didn't want to double cross on Point Blank on. Whoops. Oh well, crap happens. Really bad start. I was talking and not paying attention to what skills I had. Alright, thanks for watching. Like I said, expect the next video to probably be about Shackle design, generic boss design, and then random Darkest Dungeon 2 videos throughout. Thank you so much.